我从写下来，是的。是米基的上。
萨西贝给就是麦多扎，贝拉里些你给干嘛的？三个心都你在我里，如果能到心了就把手，一当不如拉咱们的拉巴尼亚大呀。三个就能做的可能嘛，成就不多，但你干自己。那个金锁给别上难题，多拉跟着三节就把手。三节是吧？手给做妈妈，成就把的，把你给锁起，那个金锁给别上难题。多拉跟着三节就把手。三节就能做给做妈妈，成就把的，把你给锁起，那个金锁给别上难题。多拉跟着三节就把手。他早的年纪长些也的成就的，对吧？
là thì hiện tại cũng xin chúc chính trị thì này mà có chuyện rồi
hiện tại cũng xin chúc chính trị
lo
thì chuyện
mà đấy
ta thì hiện tại cũng xin chúc chính trị ta thì sinh ý chính trị sẽ tìm được đấy
lấy
xin chúc tặng rồi吧
mà đây cái rồi xin So we are the 164, right?
Yeah.
64?
65.
65? That's it. Ngan nordo. And the do lenchi something dagardo. Let's see.
That is lenchi something ye be tenjoti. That is they are the correcting here sina tenjo tenchi ye ga dang cho me da ba ni ting here is.
Let's see. So verse 65, this verse 65, it talks about the obtaining precious human body and the transitory nature of our existence.
That is it. That lenji something ye be tenjo ti se ti ngana tanda tenjo ki tensan ti lenchi tam nye this. Ne mambuchi nyawa ita tandu. Ya melike ne umbu matama. Ne karasu legi tal. Lobas ulbeta legi tal. Ani chame jingi kansa. Tinge tiniya la lora tinge kebina ye tinge skeni tenjo ki tensa thogati ta ne chi tam le bedi pere mi shchi namki pe te servti nandu chuti le yembe soje ani ni tenjo ki ten thoyati bedi thoyati chuti yembe soje ma namju tento to sati ne sung ne ani ji 아니 달에게 아니 그래서 그래 최주의 등기 마상이 매일끼리 최주의 등기 마상이 어떻게 된지 제대로 봐 뒤에서 이 단지 대중의 대사 단지 내가 제가 내지 장의 시절에 내지 잠시에 대중의
So verse 65 reads, knowing that lives, liberties, and opportunities are found but once. So this we have to understand that obtaining a precious human body endowed with leisure and fortunes are as if having this only one. Uh, because if you look into if we look into the previous lives, then like almost all almost all of previous lives we have been in lower migrations, right? Either we have either even we have human lives but being born in the barbarics and the or like having a wrong view and so forth. So to have a precious human body endowed with leisure and fortune, it's it like we found once, only one time, and so this is just most of the time, almost all of the time, we are sort of like a main residence is the lower migrations, and we are just here sort of like a vacation, holidays.
네. 예제선다 아니에 대해서 다 대화에 가서니继续차례. 대화들 대화 개인과 대화들 개야. 대화에서 이제 콤바스게. 근데 다리 대부 예수도 좀 봐. 다리 공부 예수게 봐. 다리 지용이 있으면 다리가 대부 이유는 되게 예수게 봐. 그래서 대화에서 다 콤세든지 콤세 추주가 콤바스게. 추주가 콤베 아니 콤바 개야 미 콤바 개래 콤바 개야 어디 나도 참비서 대화 개
Yes. So here, liberties of the leisure. The leisure. So leisure really means to have time, and to have time refers to have time for spiritual practice. And last class we talked about there are 8 different types of leisures.
다음에 절바스야 등주디 절바스야 지다도 대주 전부다 아니 지 가리니 지 예년들 절바 친구도 쓰지가 네 최주의 절바스 최주의 tingi스 그런도 지대 초지기 절바스야지 다지 세븐에서 소부터 야 투수 봐야지 된 초지기 절바르지 절바야 보여서 봐 네 절바스야지 아니 최주의 tingi 주야래 주기 차례 오늘을 차례 이게 때 공부를 봐
So jorba, so it could mean, I mean, jorba can be translated into a few different terms, such as jorba. One way to translate is a fortune, another is the wealth, third one is the resources. So with this, like in like to have precious human body endowed with leisure and fortune. So like for even in a conventional understanding, when we say someone is a wealthy, someone has resources, someone has lots of resource, it means the person has this flexibility or the person can afford to do things, right? So in a similar manner here, fortune refers to the person has resources being able to cultivate the dharmas.
Oh, that is just danger. This that danger devaya java chudan de nieti shindu ne nie karase leji tam singe de danger this is the one the nie karase de italy ne dewa jeda java chudan de dansan de shindu ne nie bakare shit.
So to have a human body, or in order to achieve a human body endowed with 8 leashes and 10 fortunes are extremely difficult to obtain. It is very very rare to achieve such a human state, which endows with leashes and fortunes, 8 leashes and 10 fortunes.
다들 니가 순이야리 교육원에 니가 와서 또 교육원에 니가 와서 근데 배고는 니가 뭐고는 니가 순이야리 이나네 니
Now, so to look into more insight of the nature of rarity, how it is difficult to achieve. So this we can look into 3 different perspectives. First one is it is a rare. It is a rare in the perspective of the cause, because the cause is very difficult to accumulate. Second one is it is difficult in terms of the examples, right? Third one, it is a difficult in the perspective of like the nature of such a state.
야 다들네 교육원에 니가 들이야 교수미야리 교대 초대 남바다 비시스 스티제 니 진소 조제 이제 아니면 비만에 참자 니 순이야리 교육원에 니가
So now, if you look into the first one, it is now in terms of the difficulties of accumulating the causes, right? And there are 3 causes, such as first one is to uphold the pure moralities. Second one is complement with the giving and so forth. Giving, it's not like a 6 perfections, but it's not perfected. But the practice is the same: giving, upholding morality, and so forth. And the third one is dedicating with the stainless dedications. So those 3 are the substantial cause.
다들네 아니 주진 남바다 봤어야 돼 주진 세야 돼또 얘기 주고 주진 같이 세고요 주진 세야 돼다 얘기 줄레제 베이는 다 얘기 주인 게 됐다 내손 길이야 봐 됐다 아니 얘기 주고 수는 이게 대부들의 견주 연구야 인산 다 단다 주진 세야 돼 다디 주진 남바다 봤어야 돼 카브레이다 인다드 그래서 말도 다들 내가서 이거 주고들 상당히 다 소치 봤어야 돼 마진발에 인다세야 아니 노임세야 때 좀 카워야지 아니 중 가버리더니 나기 시야리 중요시야 돼. 참마시야 지도시야 나게시야 등란들다 나게시야 디 중요도 야리 어디 인상 네 이게 나스는 신로 다시야 숨이야봐 어두스파 랑기 근데지 수수 상단이 카부이 그러다 나 제신이 등만 좀 mambu yungu 봐. 가쇼 나 제신이 등거. 근데 니 어디에 열봐. 제사 두수미기 주부디 원야도 가부도가 예산미기 주부 추짐승이 돼. 가부르와 가부 예산이 최대 남바다가 써야지 가부를 진짜 지지지. 아니 제소부 조제버서야 돼. 나는 진행하네. 아니 세배냐네. 아니 준주기냐네. 아니 주중기냐네. 딱 제소부 조제버서 주중도 받친 사이에서 진배냐네. 딱 세배냐네. 아니 그래서 상대 시에를 써봐도서 제소부 조제버서 소고나가 지가 되게 저가 저기 상대 시에를 알아봐 무슨 사람들은 이제 조제버서 그거야지 대중은 잡아진 뒤터라 아니 이 카푸치로가 아니 말은 정말 내봤어야지 말은 디 신디 낭신 마부베 말은 잡지 지 딜레 지자고야 그래서 말은 정말 내봤어야지 카푸를 지지해봐 카푸를 제베지 말아도 껴 mam마되기 아니 딜레기 요소디 때문에 말아도 된적 터버려 어떤 인사다 주승세들이 유군에 가와도 숨지.
Now, in terms of the difficulties in terms of the cause, as mentioned earlier, there are three causes. First one is upholding the pure moralities. Now, in this context, pure morality refers to at least restraining from the 10 non-virtuous deeds, such as 3 from the body, 4 from the speech, and 3 from the mind, such as 3 from the body, killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. So those are the 3 from the body, and relatively those are the easier to restrain. So relatively easier to restrain. And the 4 from the speech, lying, divisive talk, harsh words, and idle gossip. Now, so like for us, it is, I mean, based on our experience, it is difficult to restrain from the idle gossip. We do many chit chats. So this is difficult to restrain. And then 3 from the mind, 3 from the mind, covetousness, malicious thought, wrong view. So now, if we look into the more holistic in terms of those 10 non-virtuous deeds, so how difficult it is for me to uphold purely. It is a challenge, immense challenge to uphold those 10 purelies. So this is the reason why the cause is difficult. Now the second cause, the giving and so forth. such as giving and so forth refers to the practice of giving, and morality is already done. Then the practice of patience, the practice of joyful effort, the practice of concentration, the practice of wisdoms, and those also are difficult to implement, difficult to put into practice, right? Into the more holistic practice. Then the third cause is dedicating all those merits, like upholding those pure moralities and uh, uh, upholding the practice of those giving and so forth. So after all those, like after doing all those things, dedicate those merits that I have accumulated. So the manner in which we should dedicate is not in the sense of mundane interest, not in the sense of for this life's interest, rather in the more altruistic motivations, it has to be dedicated. But to do so is also could be a challenge. So therefore, in terms of the courses is difficult, right? Difficult to put into practice. Having said so, in our previous life, the previous life, we did it because of in the previous life, we have upholded the pure morality to the practice of giving and so forth, and dedicated stainless dedication. So as a result, we have this precious human body endowed with leisure and fortune.
네, 아니, 나는 그만 천대기 나시기 좀 말해 봤을때, 아니면 나는 준비력 지전에 아니 이러네 내 메버쇼 선거를지 내 명시 내 뒤도 가봐쇼 아니지 벤저 플스도 같이 마쇼 선 제비 뭐래 나는 저배나 나는 뒤 진대 나신기 지멜레도 진디 치 디지기 치 나는 접샤로 내 나는 뒤만 메버셔야 될 거였으니 샘제도 산지 주고 같은 것이지 샘제도 때문에 가르쳐 그래 아니 가르쳐 그래 침을 편제기 삼는지 샘제도 때문에 아니 침을 대주고 대상 아니 샘제도 때문에 샘제기 강해서니 샘제기 야 되어 그렇더니 대주고 대상 주도가 쇼서 보인다 천디 나신 운도 수만 말이 이제 됐잖아 많은 경인데 심지어 뭐야 심지어 사이즈 주고 같은 야기도 뭐 아제베는 천디 디지리 쳐도 그 삼르탄 그게 말이 그 요야데 네 디지털하는 거야 디지털 네 대부분의 제체들이 치도 대주 그래서 그래 대주 치도 뭐 대비는 대부분의 제 이제 산재를 준다 선재를 준다 파는 것이거든요. 참 딜레 디지 연구열고 연구열 그도 제 세대 디지 치도 제베는 아니 세대 디지 대 많이 받지 아니 치마 폐제를 뒤유나 매버봐 나 치마 폐제를 그러면 개베는 아니 세대 디지 샤를 연구열 그래서 오늘 그만 매버서야 돼 신디 낭신기 지면 매버 말해봐서야 돼 디시게 그래서
Now, in terms of the third cause, which is stainless dedications. So, stainless dedication really refers to the stain. Here refers to stain is when one holds on to the interests of this life. So, when one holds on to the interests of this life, that put a stain on the merit that one had accumulated. For examples, like after accumulating that merits or positive deeds, however, if one dedicate those merits for the sake of to have a wealth in this life, or to to harbor a sense of may I be a healthy, uh, healthy for this life. So anything that really um, anything that constitutes the interest of this life, then that is the holding on to the interest of this life, or in other words, grasping or clinging on the interest of this life. So rather, after cultivating any virtues, one should dedicate for the interest of a of interest of the infinite mother sentient beings. So by accumulating those merits, may able to achieve Buddhahood in order to benefit the infinite mother sentient beings, or may this root of virtue be beneficial to the uh, sustenance and the flourishing of Buddha Dharma. So in this manner, when one dedicate, then uh, then that's the proper way to dedicate, rather than dedicating for the interest of this life.
다들 답변이 거는 가서도 배들라 다 리베게 배지 리베지 제리 리베 미로 롱아지제 이 자주 친구는 리베 미롱아지 리베 미롱아지 나라도 다들 샤스 근데 저디 자 친구제 얘가는 세기냐시 신 세기 배지 이구지 이구 지기여버지 네 세기지 뭐버지 배 저디 칼라 닝데 제디칼 이야르버티 산지기 템버다 좋습니다. 네 산지기 세기 년신디 룽디 도세지를 되게 한 룽디 이어네 그 스가 레간데 세디 샤르루 이 땡데치네 두베르바 아니 리벨롱나디 로자자 철레 철간을 야등비에 되니 아니 디 세기냐신디 부거디단 최버디 다시부 공부를 봐 자존이 침부시고야 냐신디 세기냐신디 지글 대리야마 룽기파 지르도 스르데 그 리베팅 로자 미쇼치 철간을 야등비야마 되는지 잠바디 세기냐신디 최버디 커버를 봐 디나시 나도 남주도서디 텐트도서디 자주올라 지 데데베체 네군베네르지데 아니 자주된도 야 저희 야디 이 텐트를 깨베 나베체 깨베체 로이 자하자리 야 등비야 로이 자디 간에 로이 자이 나니 또 이미지 자주가를 돼야지야 디미쇼 로이 자부터 간으로 아니 자주 띵대더라 어디 야 등거디 된들 된사를 지토버지 된들 된사를 지토버리지 세기냐고 친 디나리야 주야 커버가 된들 기대산 통님 뭔가 여러 가지 산지기 때문에 제게 커버야 이 세기냐신기 부가 디나리야 외베딩 진바야 추게 딱 커버시고 봐 어디 예산 This Sanjay Temple Jever, Narandu just a Teju, Ten Santi, Sanjay Temple Jever, Jeverba, the Jerry, the pay condition to Kapushima. The Tiri, relate the million duality, while Nashid Vato Tani, Rochumia, Niyama. And it Yashik Puvenalia could serve the Kapushima, what they pay connect, pay, that did it, you ever share what things are petty.
Now, so with this, we have finished that difficulty of the difficulty in terms of the cause. Now, the second one is the difficulty in terms of example. So, example. So here, Buddha made the analogy of like a blind turtle lives in a great ocean. One side of the ocean, the other side of the ocean, there is a golden yolk. And this blind turtle comes on the surface of the ocean once in 100 years. Once in 100 years. Now, so what is the chances of that blind turtle when that blind turtle comes into the surface? What's the chances of that turtle's neck fits into the golden yolk? So it is an absolutely very difficult situation, right? Very difficult to put the blind turtle's neck into the golden yolk because, first of all, the ocean is immensely big, and the blind turtle lives at one side, and the golden yolk resides on the others. Moreover, the waves of the oceans, the golden yolk never stays in one location, but it moves according to the wave. On top of that, the blind turtle only comes into the ocean surface once in 100 years, right? And the turtle is blind, therefore it cannot see the yolk. So it just so this, if we look into more detail, more insight into this analogy, uh, this great ocean is the nature of that cycle existence, and the blind turtle is a metaphor of the us, the human, like us, uh, and because of the ignorance that we are blinded because of ignorance. It comes into once in 100 years because it represents the lifespan of the human beings is 100 years. It comes only once, right? So this golden yolk represents the Buddha Dharma, teaching Buddha Dharma, and how we can fit into this. It's like a it is a difficult because the turtle is a blind, right? So this is the like a this is the picture of how difficult in terms of the examples. That's the topic. That's the title. The difficult.
Yeah, that is pay going to give a Molukuling give a certificate, Molukuling give a certificate. Tenjo with Tensan, Tenjo, Tenjo, Tensanti. Molukuling at the Carson. Pardon me, Karsure. Yawa Yida Tondo. Lama Yi. Ji. Tenjo Tensan to me. But never yet. Me. Tenjo Tensa part to me, but never yet. To get the identity, community. Many. The mission Gumberba, Pachalachina, Moroccan Asiatic, Mosin and Jebusin, Jebugon in Yakawasiatis, Goshel and Jebugon in Chikawas, Machine Moroccan in Yakas. Many 미래를 지내 미망부여를 딘 아니 대중 대사 미디 공부를 봐. 상기기 때문에 니 그래서 우리 괜찮 토바디 가보를 봐. 어떻게 무엇이야 되게 팔 누구니지나.
Then the next one, third one is the in terms of rarity of in terms of the nature, right? So sometimes it's also mentioned in the different texts that the resultant difficulty in terms of the resultant, and now so if we stick to the first one, that the rarity in terms of the nature, right? So the nature of the human status, which is endowed with leisure and fortunes. Now, in general speaking, like for the higher migration, such as the humans, demigod, and the devas, now they are even within the higher migrations in the humans, demigod, and devas, to have um, thank you. To have those 18 quality is extremely difficult, right? So now, if we look at the human state, right? Even though there are many human beings, but how many of them who have those 18 qualities?
That is that. 어디 얘가 시제 다디 얘가 세 찬수나 다디 있으네 말한지 숨기리야리 나마 가제 다데 류르 뜻에 랑기 겨나마티 가르체 예버디 다데 류르데 단에 하고 그래 다데 류르디 대저기 취집게 된데 세 가르수래 세 디기 중에 좋더니 세 치매 디기 중에 좋더니 아니 된다 달배 고반 중에 좋더니 탐지기 고반 좋더니 되게지 된 좀 된서 지만도 터버려 이 터버디 응아마디기 주디 응아마디기 사셔 제가 다들 마마까지 마마디기랑 이제 마마디기 내가 제가 다들 줄였더니 하고 그래. 그래야 제야리 이제.
There's a saying. It says that what I have done in the previous life, examine this life. So which refers to, in this life we have achieved the precious human body endowed with leisure and fortune. Therefore, it means our previous life did a wonderful job, wonderful thing in terms of accumulating the causes and condition of achieving the precious human body. So therefore, so in the previous life, we did a wonderful thing.
다디네 치마 간도 다 됐으면 뜨지. 다 치마티 저 간데 지는 것도 치마티 내리티. 다디 정아마티 된데 된사도 지도 치마티 그간도 다제 지기는 다 수수선 단에 하고 계시대. 샘 상부주의는 네 치마 간도 다 됐으면 뜨지. 샘 멤버제 샘 멤버주의는 대원디 저디 멤버주의 기술이 있어요. 샘의 상부주의는 아니 뼈에 상처집이 이거리 이제 심각한도 다 됐으면 됐어.
Where I will go in the next life, examine the present state of the mind. So it means if one has a good heart, right, warm-hearted, then that will cause to have a better and brighter future life. In contrast, if one harbors more negativities, and if someone's heart is mean and cruel, then that will cause a more unfortunate state of life. So therefore, with this, where I will be totally determined by what state of mind one has.
인사다 되네. 제름 붙이게 가르쳐를 대조선은 되면다와 방스. 얘가 선은 이날 되버니스. 다대 대처와 대상이 되던가. 다 되네. 자원만 붙이면은 되게 수대. 항상 기야르지. 레인이 대조 대처와 대상은 되는데 치매 응어도 고마워 tumtum이야 다들 고마워 tumtum이야 상기지 고마워 tumtum이야 이네야다 말이 제일 되게 재미있죠 신디 장장으로 비치를 고코제 대비는 이 재미있다고 판타지 지나 나랑기 지 신디 자샤코나 장장으로 고코제 대비 항상 계열지 우리 대제 상나 때문에다 항상
So as Lama Tsongkhapa, he mentioned that when one contemplate on the nature of precious human body, which can be utilized in the most meaningful ways. For example, to have this precious human body, we can utilize this precious human body and with vision fortune in terms of cultivating cause and condition to have higher migrations, and at the same time we can utilize this precious human body to have a cause and condition of achieving liberations. Moreover, we can also cause a condition to have the complete Buddhahood, right? So therefore, this human body we can utilize in the most meaningful way. Therefore, the more one thinks about how precious, how meaningful it can be used, then the greater a sense of like a how to say the greater sense of like a if when one weighs this, then there is a greatest the more we think the more one thinks about how it can be used in the positivity, then the greater sense of loss when we waste this precious human body.
다들 얘가 상나 지나들 반에 제름 붙이 얘가 어디 상는 담배는 우리 다 식단 뒤틀 내버렸지 가인진 거네 지 철도 그래야 그렇지 이제 가리네 지 철대 대표한테 그들이 그래야 해 대주에 지어야 돼 땅땅이 근데 지제가 심 삼도스는 전주 쓰는 잠바도 이제 근데 그들이 구매해야 돼 대주 구매해야 돼 칼라세 들고냐야래 최승이 제야야래 제상 니가 삼나 옛날에 내가 메스 달라스 쉐마두베제 달라스 전에 데메드 제 대부전 되탐내버리지 삼로코기야 신은 니가 가와이서 다다리 렌지 지니버리지 슈마티 다리 들려서 삼마테니 신다 저와서 체버리지 이물바 이제 니가 가와디 삼인지 들었다 옛날 되던 메스 아니 달라스 전에 남이 온다 야 저 남이 온다야 남이 개왜 온다야 어두서티 제대로 내버리지 근데 남이 온다네 제대로 내버리지 간지 치지 두고야 삼버지기에 니가 삼나 니가 와 삼야 돼
In the same line, Lama Tsongkhapa mentioned that the more one thinks about the rarity of obtaining this precious human body, the greater sense of urgency in terms of doing positivity, doing virtues, right? So otherwise, like just hanging loose or sitting in idle rest, right? Doing nothing. So all those, I mean, those will have no, all of those activity has no place for a person who develop a urgency to utilize this precious human body, because it is extremely rare to achieve. However, I found this once. Therefore, the person will, the greater sense of those lines the person upholds within, then that will diminish the very sense of sitting idly and doing nothing virtuous.
다때는 어디선 다치 추세야 되가르스나 저 제는 추제야디 거기에 제야요 그래 추부자한테 sem상부디마 추상부 sem상부디 거기에 구매야리 내가 지도에 sem상부 구내는 내가 지야야리 루드에 sem상부 디지야야리 가리네 계제시도에 sem상부 구내시야야리 네지 지기 리기능주지 때문에 sem상부 구내 리기능주지 때문에 추세야 sem상부 구내写了这哪般嘛呀？身上不可能是像旅行能就不可能，那你但是他确实也了，但是确实也的都得身上不去定的，确实重要，就是等于起码感觉大家身上就是的。Sembasana sadhana mya samsete. Sembanena sadhana mya nisete. Odi di 2 years. Just a true set. Similar 2 years.
So now, in terms of utilize this precious human body, so how one can utilize properly? To utilize properly, one must put in practice the Dharma. So how one can put into practice the Dharma? So in the essence, like Dharma can be put into practice anyway and any given circumstances. For example, while we're eating, one can meditate on compassion. When we are walking, one can also meditate on compassion. In any seemingly looks mundane activities, but it can be integrated with the compassion, integrated with the Dharma practice. So therefore, like to utilize those to utilize the precious human body, one can maximize this with the integrating with the a genuine sense of Dhamma practice, such as like cultivating compassion in any time, in any time, and in any ways.
That and to ya the Chimbu Shivu, Chimbu to me. Shindu ne Gani Jinia Barba. Did that thing you didn't go take it as any you didn't take much. Negan Jila. Negan new to Jibe 2 dollars. You didn't go to that Yamarba. Carson. Ni Tare Chiariba. Chiari. Ni Tati. New to Jibe 2 dollars. That new to jail said Angarandu Tenju dance on the Shengi Tibetan, Yawada, Yidada, the roots, the Sulu Tibetan, the Nahai Teda, the Sulu Tarian, the Tundu Jimber, said Tundu. Just a Tundu is some near Gavet, Tenju with dance on the new to Jib. Near Gantin and Nangelo the Galseti, Nangelo the Bit Shard. Nagelo teaching this in the digital marching journey. She do mad. In I see Nagelo and Gawati. That's the Shangi Teller to not high Teller. Yawati Hida to do it. Teller part to not use the Teddy. Low juvenile since mission ever. Just a did the Chimbo did it someday. And then you Gawati. You didn't take it as you to keep it on
Now, so at this point, we have achieved this precious human body endowed with all the leisures and fortunes, right? Now the question is how long it can last. How long it can last. Now for this, so if you look at the line, second line, verse 65, quickly lost. Even though we have such a precious human body endowed with those 18 qualities, nevertheless, it is very transitory in nature. It can be perished in any time, right? So it says that the duration of a lifespan is just like the moment of a thunder in the sky, right? When there is a thunder in the sky, the flashing of the light of when there is a thunder in the sky, the duration is very brief. It only produces a brief light, then it's disappeared. In a similar manner, the nature of our existence is transitory in nature. It is impermanent in nature. It can be perished in any given moment.
That Chua Teju de Sumibri. Never Chuas. Never being but the Tibarvan Kanga. Kene, Machua Tuniti, and you didn't get the Yamali to answer. Meji Chava Mambaji. English Yamarva, Kangolonian, dead server. In a Shimanado, in a Shijani, Jujuri Mishuji, Chia Jujile, Juri Mishuji, Duan Merva, Jetta, never choose yet, never choose. And it Namchini Message. 예바 치유레데 제한테 탈출하지. 다들 같이 치료했으면 대한남치 예바야 말이야. 그것이 아메게 느끼는 신문이 그것이 로지지 로이지 그것이 지금 가르쳐 그래. 대마탕 거인의 지금 제 사용을 했죠. 이 가면의 지금 중기 광고 좀 돼가 내가 이러는 내내 대제지네 또 신이 뭐 부두가다 미야라고 쳐서 남친들이 이렇게 친구들이 말했어야지. 남친을 내봐야 말이야. 그래서 이제 치다디 용건이 타죠. 치워디 용건이 타죠. 치워디 그뒤 용건이 내봐야 말했어요. 남친이 매스죠.
So now with this impermanence, the very nature of our existence is impermanence, it's transitory nature. So now with this impermanent, it can be, for this impermanent, it explains more detail in terms of 3 headings. So our first heading is the certainty of a death. Second one is uncertainty of the death. Okay. So now, if you look at the first one, the certainty, right? So as all of us know that is certain. I mean, that's for sure, right? That all of us know that one day we will die, because this is a fact that nobody has. Nobody has. I mean, nobody. If you look at the human history, nobody lived without dying. Even Buddha Shakyamuni, right? Even Buddha Shakyamuni, went to a pre-nirvana, right? So with this, that's easier to understand, right? That is certain. Now, the more difficult is when I will die. When I will die, right? Then that is a very uncertain. And moreover, there is a person can die, for example, mothers, when a lady receives a baby, right, conceives a baby, so she can lose the baby during the pregnancy, right? Or it can die, a baby can die, infant baby can die at 1 age or 2 and so forth. And it doesn't matter when one is very healthy, right? I'm very healthy and I have all those resources. It doesn't mean when someone's very healthy, have all those resources, doesn't mean that person will not die, right? So then a life can be taken away even in terms of just like an earthquake, for example. So during earthquake, people can die. So any of natural calamities can easily take our lives, right? So with this, I mean, there is no guarantee about the time of our death.
야, 다들이 남지 참이지. 다 치외체 체마도 시간이 되어야지. 내가 부분 다 싸우면서 되게 치외체는 그래도래. 치외체는 다 라는 펜토니디 라인고 만드니디 최다 최만이 버니 레이니부티 레게와다 레미고니 부티레 레게와티 치마라네 디디디야마 대투야마 다 치마라 디디디야지 최딩이 최딩이 제리 류이디 샤는 배조 저도 그때지 이 샤는 녀이도 그때지 이내지 저 친 줘야 말이 이 샤는 나니 뭐 영예 가르세네 예외례되다 느끼외례이 부팅게 예외례들이 나를 비기비 치마 남들지냐 치마 지 친예를 디디기 전예를确들이 예시에 아니确去嘛都 先刚比较没变些
So the third heading is at the time of the dying, only the virtuous deeds that is helpful. Because when we die, we have to leave everything behind except the positive and the negative karma that one has accumulated. Those two accompanies with us in the next life. Other than those two, none of other things cannot accompany in the next life. So therefore, the positive karma is beneficial for oneself in the future lives, whereas the negative karmas are not beneficial. Moreover, those can bring a unpleasant experience.
다음에 안에디 자숨 세디디 자숨 다음에 타지로 숨세 타지로 숨세디 내가 쳐 인생이 쳐 내가 잡고 타지지 같이 인베 인생이다 지대평이 취미심에 인생 쳐 내가 잡고 타지지 남집에 참여가 인생 다단이네 취급을 해야 돼. 이 상장난장 맞아야지. 다단이네 지가요 지금 취급해야 돼. 다단이네 취급을 타지지. 아니, 아니, 아니 그래서 그래. 아니 그래서 그래. 그래서 그래. 최다 아니지 자와 강의시키는 안에 신들이 자와 뭐야를 자와도 그시는 최다 지대니 전에 최저 지구부터 하지부터 심한 평에들이 최인산이 최다 지대니 전에 아니 최저 주부에 타지 그게 순디 어디에서 타지로 숨세
So those three are the three root topics, headlines on the meditating on impermanence of a life. Now, after reflecting on those three root headings, one should make three resolutions by reflecting on those three headings. For example, first heading is the certainty of the death, right? The certainty of the death. So the more one thinks about these topics, the certainty of the death, then one at the end of this reflection, one should make a resolution that because of certainty of the death, I must uphold the Dharma. I must uphold the practice of the Dharma. Now, by reflecting on the second heading, which is uncertainty of the death, right? Because when I will die is uncertain, therefore I must not procrastinate during the Dharma practice, right? With this, now I know that I should do the Dhamma practice, but I cannot procrastinate. For I know I need to do Dhamma practice, but I will do later or next day. So the resolution is I must do the Dhamma practice now. That's the resolution. and then meditate, contemplating on the third outline, which is at the time of the dying, only Dhamma practice will be beneficial. Therefore, the resolution should be I must more prioritize on the Dhamma practice than the mundane activities. The mundane activities. Because Dhamma practice is the only beneficial at the time of dying, therefore, I must heavily prioritize on the Dhamma practice.
다들 열매체대 자연미 왔을 때도 열매를 체대 자연미 열매 자업이 최대 만들 때나 그래가지고 자업이 레디 지제네 이그 최주의 중계를 지친 상단이 내가 전에 지금 가르치네 무슨 아니 최주의 중계를 아니 잘네 최주의 중계를 자들 지된 코에서 장 아니 지된 자오쿠나 조금 이해지 되면 난 되면 치대 자를 미용 왔어야 돼 되면 치대 자를 이해해야 돼 아니 이 그래서 우리 말하는 때 좋아하던 이 가리니지 중기 중국 예를 들어서 우리한테 최주의 중기를 지제네 이 하나 최주의 중기를 구비하리 세고 내면서 그런 거 구비하리 이 인상 아니 도수 지 도수비 제니 이 세금을 진 농제니 최주가 세금을 진 농제 마찬가지로 제물 내내에 두고야 수수 두고야 두고에서 이제 두드네 지리 아니 세금을 진 농제보다 인명도 최관용 제일 지제니 두고야 이 제외에는 이제 그 아니 가르쳐 그래 제가 너를 좀 내패해야 돼 너는 좀 패해도 되지야 네 그래서는 지금 최주의 중기 주제는 제배이나 너를 좀 되게 출라 편벌마 어디에서다 젊에 버틴데 마스모체 지 지대미 자원을 주고 뒤에 전에 강요지용기다 철두불이 쓰게 철두해야 돼. 강요지용 철두불이 이제 다들 있는 두불이 다들 있는 두불한테 가려서는 성이 매치를 해봐야 말이야. 네, 어디 매가 예산이 지도해야 돼 소비야. 어디 예산 나디 아니 철두불이 스타츠 어디에 다디 전쟁이 물에 맞진지로 연달에 있는 인구수야 최세야 됐다 안가라지 카본 지지들 최신의 카보스 지지들 최세야 돼 삼루다인이 들어 삼루 교주다인들이 선거 상부지야 돼 선거 상부들 군디 야부 제수는 선거 상부 사루야 이제 네 뒤주베로 선거 상부 뒤에 있는 영향이 저 상부도 영향을 받지 말하는 선거 상부 내가 뒤에 영향이 자원 멤버들이 그디야로 본르레치사 지 샘님버지는 뒤고는 아니지 자원 멤버만 붙는다 샘 상부지는 자원 샘 상부들이 자원 멤버들이 가지고요 샘 상부지들이 이거서 주세야지. 또 생각 주게. 주 생삼부 되는 용은 군주 양보이야. 네. 라라 체딜의 디기야. 심말의 디기. 생삼부면은 체딜의 디기야 말이. 생디 차단도 sembrunge kange mampu cheliya ni kange mampu cheliya ni kana sembrunge jawa tiche ni khubi jawa nemba tiche di jawa nemba di je butli nemba ji mi shi ya ma chedile nemba ji yo chichimali nemba yi odi santa sem sambu ji wala ji ni 그래서 야 제대로 안에 뒤지는 거지 치마에 뒤지는 거지 셀에 뒤지게 semsam도 지는 라한테 인고 좀이 kim자지기 나를 얘기 니 신다도스는 뒤지게 도 라sem sam도 매비는 kim자 디나리 프로듀스리아 간에 뒤게 semsam은 간에 뒤게 semsam은 제대로 봐티 산타 최신이지 지제는 상 최세지 좀 가도 지당 생리 규주단에 가보려 지르봐 생리 규주단에 가보리 이내야 생리 규주단 semsam도 그들이 제야로 지단 지도 저도 제지 대고 내버려봐
Now distracted, if you please look at the line 4. And not, so it's like just not be distracted by the pointless activities. Now, so it is important to cultivate the virtuous activities, right? Because that is certain. Therefore, I must cultivate the virtuous activities. Because the uncertainty of the death, I must do the practice now. Because there's no guarantee that I will not die tomorrow or today. Hence, I must practice now than waiting, right? And at the time of a dying, since only the virtuous practice or the Dhamma practice is beneficial, therefore, I must heavily prioritize on the Dhamma practice. Hence, I will not be distracted by pointless mundane activities, right? So if one heavily focus on the mundane activities, then that is the distractions to one's spiritual practice. And therefore, like just may I inspire me to grasp this life's essential meaning. This life essential meaning refers to the third line. Essential meaning refers to the Dhamma practice. So the Dhamma practice. So if I uphold the Dhamma practice, right, and that helps not to be distracted on the mundane activities, right? Now, speaking of the Dhamma practice, in one way, in one perspective, Dhamma practice can be very difficult to put into practice. But on the other way, if we look at on the other side, or if we in a different perspective, Dhamma practice is not that difficult to put into practice, because in essence, Dhamma practice it really means that how we think, how we cultivate the motivations. So if one change one's motivation inside of us to think more, to develop a sense of more concern for the others, the concern for the well-being of others mentally, and to develop more sense of caring for others or loving for others, then developing those mentally within, and then those actions physically manifest more gentle, verbally develop more gentle uh, for others. So Dhamma practice can be done in any given circumstances, right? At any given time, because cultivating good heart, to be a good-hearted person, a more affectionate person, more compassionate person is the essence of the Dhamma practice. The more person is a more compassionate, more loving person, and then it really radiates not only to himself, but to his or her family, and then extends to neighbor and so forth. Um, so now, even though at the time of our death, wealth that we have, we cannot take us with at the time of death. But when we are alive, those wealth can be utilized for spiritual practice, right? So to spiritual practice, to be more, to act in the deeds of giving, to act in the deeds of more generosity, and utilize those wealth to create a more conducive condition for one's spiritual practice. So it's really like the more one is loving person, then greater it can really create a more loving environment. In the contrast, if a person is a mean person, then that not only brings a unpleasant experience for oneself, but it also creates an unpleasant experience around and around that person's. So in this manner, like it just like inspire me to grab the essence, inspire me to grab life's essential meaning and not be distracted by pointless activities. Now, this really like encapsulated in the sense that we are able to do the spiritual practice, Dhamma practice, in the manifestation of being more kind-hearted person, right? Kind-hearted persons, and not to be overly focused onto the mundane activities. Rather, I will be prioritized for the Dhamma practice, right? So that I will not be distracted on the mundane activities, rather to cultivate virtuous deeds that is not only beneficial for oneself, but it can be more beneficial for all the human beings.
Marande dui papa del nalo vitile nimbu sidia dui chulo dili ya tumba sidia tumba ti kariko ni 말하는 지대는 저거를 금방 하루죠. 금방. 그 다들 뭐지 셀 펜투기야 말이야. 그 발유시야. 다들 이것도 나로 주더라. 이게 있지 랑기 류초지 다들 나로 들어. 류초지 이나시 이것도 있지 추 저기 딜을 편 치마의 편이 근데 니라는 디지니라는 편이 추들 같아서 renting the ginger said.
So inspired me to grab inspired me to grab life's essential meaning. So mentioned earlier, essential meaning is the Dhamma practice. So in Tibetan, so it's an essential meaning. It's a actually the Tibetan root word is called Nyingbo, which is like a translate as essence. But this Nyingbo, it's another way to translate. It's like a, for example, grain. So when it's a freshly grain, it has covered. It has a layer, like an external layer, right? The has, right? This has. So when you peel those extra layer, the has, when you remove those has, then the actual grain is called nimbo. It's the essence, right? So now it's the has is the mundane activities. We need to peel it out. Those are the ways. The inside is the grain itself, is the essence, which is Dharma. This is a reference, this is the metaphor of the Dharma. Dharma is the sustenance of not only this life, but it's also sustenance of the future life's happiness of the future life. So therefore, we must take the essence, which is the Dharma practice, and to uphold and peel out the mundane activities, which are the ways.
No, that's no, that's danger with them. You will never go as it. Danger near somebody, show me to somebody. Danger, then I need to remember. Go much here, go much in it. But danger to pull out and be on my. Sit in your jiggery, courage over it, church over it. Church, go much in it. Danger. Juji Sambadam, Chua Medaba Sambati, Chuji, Gumachi. Jessa, the joke them, you never Gua sing it, Gua said, Gumachi, the Nini Samsona, Chuji, Gumachi, Gunu, Tiru, and Chua gained the Tambachi, Ali, Chitin, Chuji, Chingutuba. Chua Martin Betis and any church kind, shooting Yamarva. Ranzo Nasuna, Nichi did it. That is it. And that should hear it. Shall Chimbier, Chicago in the teaching with the there may be never so any short in the American kind of Karsure. Timiduga. Chin Nasunani, short the chain with the Yes, did you teach you there to do that? But the yes, Manakuni, Georgia, good much me, not to tell what the church that. Then Joby, then a Nimbu never grew as a Nimbu said the church, church, good much in it, dangerous, to just somebody, chewing with somebody, good much
So now, so with this, those two topics refers to the obtaining a precious human body endowed with leisure fortune and the impermanence of our life. Those two topics are the reminder for us to implement the Dhamma practice. So Kunma, it's a one way to translate, is the reminder. Those two remind us to put into practice. For example, the more we think about this precious human body, then we feel the preciousness and scarcity of this condition put us into the track of Dhamma practice. The more thing of impermanence, right? Then that also remind us to do the Dhamma practice. So those two are just like, those two are, I can say, those two are sort of kickstart to us, Dhamma practice, right? Dhamma practice. So, for example, it's like in many conditions, when we get sick, then this being sick, it also forces us to think about the Dhamma practice, right? So it is a wiser to being mindful about Dhamma practice while we are very healthy and being able to do the Dhamma practice. Maybe when we get too badly, if we get health becomes very degenerated condition, then it's difficult uh, to do the Dhamma practice. So therefore, like those two headings comes as a important force of reminder for us to do the Dhamma practice.
Just that is yes, that that is devotion.
So any questions? Yes.
Can Rinpoche talk a little bit about, if we're unable to perfectly practice the 10 virtuous actions, the power of purification to give us a little faith that we can get there in the next go around.
Yes.
Because if you don't practice the 10 perfections perfectly, that's one of the causes, and so a lot of us don't do that perfectly. So can he talk a little bit about purification to help give us some faith that could happen again?
Okay. But the Mikiu Chudoni Kiwachu Sungenzora, the any the Dendrutaviagi Guji Chadera, any that Yibinele, any that Marangi the Kiwachu Sungian, that Zangmaja Sungian, Kabudus, Dinde songs and that chick. Kizinde chi zangma sung mebi na antila dogya la ta chi khasa dibi jaya de ra dinde kola chi sung ro chi da maran chi dinde dibi jaya de kola de bebi bi na ta chi dinde sung la thaba cher dre da ne de momba sung thu ya de che do ane dinde chi sung da
that is Miguel Judy Nadu. The couple is in the Judy. Yarity, Yasangi, third capability. In the Tipa, because the shooting, people, Sojibar, Sojibar, Jenny, Soju, Jada, Savina, the doctor, Sanjay. Any Shas, Jenny, Shabba, Shabba, Sunyadi, that's Shabba Dilla, Nibutoshi, and Nibufundu, Tosia. I don't know nobody come to change the same. Because he just say, Jenny, Marandu, he just did it, Jenny, Jaju Simkuna, the birth of Jishin to Meseba, in it, Jaju Sim, she can't see in the virtues. In a determination, teaching and teaching in the never say, but yes, the Jaju Sim, Jaju Simkuna, 아니 지 아니 이번 또 친구들 소리 아니 일찍 나가지 좀 그랬어. 이래도 제시는 면서 되게 잔주 쓰는데 계시 가운데 시기는 자주 쓰는 게 시기는 두 그랬어 그래. 되네 동반이게 따오 군야데 이 기바다가 저기 그거 인체 그래. 동반이게 따오 군야. 자주 쓰는 다 자주 쓰는 남반이 알아봐. 운동 자주 쓰는 그다 자주 어디 다 동반이게 따오 군야다. 운동 자주 쓰는 공수는 디바 다 누구요 그래. 네. 그 순들인 거지. 산재의 순들이 자라기 개방만 보면 숨이 차버려. 그 순에서 단다 주주 나가 숨을 봐. 디바도 지시는 데서 되는 쪽에 진주 선미 계시까지 생기는 것도 있어요. 그냥 되는 주제미시 계집이 되지. 되는 주제미시 이제는 계집이 내가 써봤지. 디바 친구도 써요. 계집이 써봤지 그래. 어떤 뒤에서 이년을 가르쳐 그래서는 내 뒤들이 예수 선 여러들을 님이다. 그래서 숨을 삼으랬지. 아니 남았은 집도 없어요. 아니 전에 진짜 때문에 진상하지. 아니 뒤번에 자주 무슨 군이나 들이네 디버도 디버티네 시작스 디버는 저한테 무슨 디베사 순상발이지. 다티 답에 치도 자주 무슨 군 자주 무슨 지금 동반이게 따라지 체 근데 제수에 달리야. 네 아니 진짜 되는 게 제상 거. 진짜 동생이 제고야. 이내야 말아서 진짜 양게 게딩에 받을 테니 예바 인물이 이 동생 지도 좀 같이 되는 게 제상 같이 타지 동생 제고야. 어디 제고있는 제비는 어디네 이 대표면서부터 수제 어디
So actually, yes, indeed, it is difficult, very difficult to uphold the 10, 10 virtuous actions, right? Purely, it's a difficult, and so if one have committed any of those 10 non-virtuous actions, then it is important to confess, to purify it, right? So this purification develops more confidence, to being able to uphold it. Now, in terms of the purification, since it is very difficult to uphold, but the compassionate Buddha skillfully taught the purifications, right? Those purifications, and speaking of purification, the very powerful way to purify those negativities it can be done with that applying the four opponents, right? Four opponents of the purifications, such as the power of the base and the power of first, then power of the remorse. For examples, if one have committed any of those 10 non-virtues, it is really important to acknowledge that, oh, I'm sorry, I made this mistake, right? And feel sorry about that particular actions, and then develop a sense of a commitment that I will not do that again, right? I will not do that again. And then what one is to do the practice involves for that purification. And the Buddha mentioned different practices such as meditation on bodhicitta, the compassion, the bodhicitta, meditation on the bodhicitta is a very powerful way to purify the negativities, and the meditation on emptiness, meditation on emptiness is a very powerful way to purify, and recitation of the 100-syllable mantra, Vajrasattva mantra, 100-syllable mantra, is also a very powerful way to purify. And so, as Master Shantideva, in his guide to Bodhisattva's way of life, in the first chapter, he mentioned that bodhicitta is the greatest antidote for purifying negativities, and there isn't any other virtuous practice which is more powerful than the bodhicitta. And he also mentioned that bodhicitta is just like the, the burning fire of the uh, eon of the distractions, which can instantly burns the whole world, right? So too, bodhicitta has such a power to burn all the negativities that one has instantly. So therefore, cultivating on the practice of bodhicitta is a very powerful way to burn all the negativities. Right.
아니, 나라들아, 이 예바디 빠tum에고 그거야리, 근데 조직이, 아니, 나도 좀 받아, 니 자생도 좀 많이, 아니, 니 좀더 차리신도 번도 이 순게, 이게 니, 대중 샤다 말려봐, 지금 유순들, 디바데 차리 바바나 시바비 야리데, 니 샤든 메데, 샤드, 데, 니말 다리 데데, 다리샤, 상이샤. 이게 지금 유순들 같이 저 조지는 순간이 조지 생기게 딱 잡아지고 남아삼님 개발해봐 이렇게 봐 어디 아니 말아도 또 맞게 니도 연구이 봐 어디 나 말아도 됐다 너도 연구해 봐 얘네한테 그 다리 중순의 다리 건다지 샤바지야 되겠어 계층비입니다. 이제서는 샤바티 대신 특정한 달로 대신 마다니 약해지네. 이 이제서는 어디 지구야 돼.
So as a master Adisha, master Adisha, so he mentioned that like for him the tantric tantric samayas, in terms of the tantric samayas, and also some bodhisattva vows too, like he the falls are like as if like a pouring like a rain. So right, I mean, if Lama Adisha is unparalleled master, it's very accomplished, very right. So even for him, there is this like even for him, if there is such a vulnerability, right? Then needless mention for us, right? Needless mention for ordinary like us. Now, what is most important thing, Lama Adisha? He said that, but there isn't any single night he haven't did the purification practice. During daytimes, if any of those non-virtues incurred, right, based on those tantric samayas, then that very night he never go to bed before purification practice. So too, we too follow that similar footsteps, right? So of course we are ordinary people. We are very vulnerable for committing those non-virtuous actions. Nevertheless, before we go to bed, we confess, we sincerely remorse those non-virtuous actions, and to reinforce oneself that I will not do those again in the future.
되네 먼저 가르치고 제부 강더스니 제 미국 제부 그리고 있는 세력이 있을 때 아니 제부 맞이져서 파세다 근데 되게 mambu야 도수 강으로 참여 제부 되게 도수 강으로 아니 강더스니 제 자주 먹고 봐도 돼 제부 맞이져야 디바다니 아니 예수부 되는 지토리 있게 어디서 아니 참 디바 친구 도수 다주야 봐 이니까 나라도 디바를 다주야 그래 디바 가테시네 다주야 근데 샤바 징에들이 제배 디바지 지한 양세 제바세시 디샤지 지신에디 디바지 부치 차부치 사베네 이 양부是양부처리야 이제 제배 디바지 양스 기부레디 그 양부치 그 디샤 제리 룸베 디바 양양 지스 룸베 디바 춘주지 사네 그 디샤 맞을 지 샤샤샤샤 그 친구 자도 니 양양 디바 담부디 사야지 디바 춘주지 사베 니 그디 디마샤르 제니메 지제디 니야 페네니 디바 지무 차도에 어디에서 샤바 제신에 디 진예디가 케바시에 케베 디바 지야 양스 어디 다주야래
So, like, definitely, if one applies the purifications, those negativities can be purified. Because during the time of Buddha, King Magadha, he killed his father. However, upholding the practice of purification, he achieves the listen. He is like in terms of the full resultant of the lesser vehicle, like he abide in the streamers, stream.
Stream enter.
Yeah, he entered in the stream. Yeah, stream enter. That's it. And then Angulimala, who killed 900. 99 people due to applying on the purification, achieves the Arahant state. So all those and so forth. There are many other examples, right? All those examples entails that negativities can be purified. So there's a saying. For wise men, even though wise men commit heavy non-virtuous actions, but wise men can decrease the consequences of those non-virtuous activities by applying the purifications. So even what he commits or the person commits heavy non-virtuous activities, the nature, those can be reduced to very light, the consequence, because applying. For the unwise person, even though this unwise person commits a small non-virtuous actions, but that because that person doesn't know how to do the purification practice, the very nature of those non-virtuous, it multiplies and leads to facing a heavy consequences, even though it's initially committed a small non-virtuous. So therefore, wise really, this definition of a wise man really defines the knowledge of the purifications. If someone has the knowledge of purifications, then that considered as a wise because that person knows how to purify those non-virtues.
这觉得底下的，给我看过底下的主要的，可能看到的他的让你这个啥下不的呀听说呢，的大白起的嘛呢，全国去讲的，嘛呢讲说呢，这个的大白起的嘛呢这样说呢，这个的大白起的，说个譬如说呢，你这个的大白起的呢。Ami devasi vami na jani. Ne mela na jani. O to su tishal tuya. Mela na tishal chotu chotu chini suya. Changi na ne. Na jasa mela chana ti jashi ni na. Ami konda mela chana ti kajanji sa tipati ta chidu. Ti tabari simi na ne. Dari chume tipati dari dadu yari. Yes, I need to talk to somebody to hear it. What is that? Jida and Dodge Simba from Desi, Tina and Chod to the Sudan, you some say to the blood. He is only Jida, Girl Kandich Jenny, deeper the Dabi Chip to me at TJS and to give her TJS on it, but I have remembered to be at it.
Now, in general speaking, any virtuous actions that we engage in can be a powerful way to purify our negativities. So it's really like it's how you set your tone of your motivations. For example, I'm doing a daily practice in order to purify my negativities. So with this mindset, if one resides, if you do your daily practice, then all the activities becomes in that time frame. Those actions translate into the purifications. For examples, with this, like I'm going to recite the mantra of the Amitabha in order to purify my negativities that have accumulated in this day. Then the recitation of the mantra of the Amitabha becomes the purifications. In a similar manner, like the mantra of medicine Buddha, right? Then that is also a powerful way of purifying that negativities. Indeed, the name of medicine Buddha is the supreme in terms of purification, purification of negativities in terms of names of the Buddha. Right? Then the mantra of the Vajrasattva, the 100 syllable mantra of Vajrasattva, and as mentioned earlier, like the meditation on the bodhicitta. Meditation on the bodhicitta is the very powerful way to purify our negativity. So therefore, therefore, any virtuous actions can be a powerful way to purify our negativities.
I almost Mamuni said the Dan Tambita Chasun Tene, on that Chasun Manipu Chasun said, Mamuni said Chasun Seven, Sanjay, the Dajavitumba Tenaji, Juna gave a tea, need to be Dibatas here. Yeah. Mamuni said the Tambita Chasun said,
So if one go to bed by making 3 times prostration to Buddha Shakyamuni with reciting his mantra Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Soha, then just reciting the mantra of Buddha Shakyamuni with the prostration can purify the 20,000 eons of the negativities. Sometimes. So we're not talking about 1 day's life. It's like 20,000 eons.
Sa shi yoge jumshin peka ta rita shi nige yambate sa ye shi jogu nanda shi ma